What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
This week, the final step in our Dance to the Joker series.
Yes.
Honestly, the one that I I forget exists more than even the one specifically that I hate. While of fun and generally a movie I look back upon fondly. If you ask me to name all the ones from this whole thing, this would be the last one I remember. Yeah. Not to say that it's a bad movie or anything.
No. Is it because it's like the least jokery?
That's probably part of it. Although Suicide Squad's very unjokery. I think just this movie, there's a movie we're talking about is the Lego Batman movie. It came out in 2017 in February. And it kind of I don't know, it just kind of got swept away in that year. And I really forgot that it was part of this last couple of years.
Yeah,
this feels like a movie that could have come out 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair. I think there's, if the Lego movie was such, I feel like a cultural touchstone, just for how good it was.
Yeah.
Things it did well, and just having these great characters and being very creative. And the Lego Batman's so tangential. I like this movie, just to be clear, but I could totally see the I don't really remember this movie, didn't have much of an impact, didn't,
Yeah,
it did things well, but not so many things well. So I understand that for sure.
It's just such a weird little movie. I think we'll definitely talk about some of the things that are weird about it. They're conceptually weird about it, but it's a very strange thing. DJ, let's talk about this, because you mentioned Lego Batman, right?
I did. And the
Lego movie.
Yeah,
Lego, I guess. What are your thoughts on the Lego movie, the first one?
Oh, God. No joke. Top 10 animated movie of the 2010s. And I don't even think that's hyperbole. I just think that's, it's that impactful. So, yeah. Yeah,
I would say that's fair. It was just really different.
Yeah, and it did a lot of things well. It was moving. I don't think it's, an understatement to say that movie was very moving and effective, and is filled with all these really good nostalgia beats.
Yeah, that's true. It was very earnest. It was just it's about a kid playing with toys, and there was a relationship with his dad and stuff. It was, yeah, and it was everyone went in well, this is gonna be a stupid cash grab, emoji movie kind of movie, and it was not. It was in fact actually good. Yeah. So I think that's probably about how I felt about it too. So this was the direct sequel to that, right? Not direct sequel, but the next thing, right?
Yeah, that came after. Yeah.
So then after this, it was the Ninjago movie. You didn't see that, did you?
No, I didn't. I heard it was fine. I don't know any reason to run out and see it.
Yeah, same. I heard it was okay, and I couldn't care less about. I don't even understand the brand of Ninjago at all. They're ninjas, but also they're probably mostly Power Rangers, and it really does seem like they're mostly Power Rangers. Which I'm pretty sure at some point the Power Rangers were ninjas. There was a ninja force or something.
There was a ninja force.
Is it? Yeah, there's some. It's definitely. I remember what they look like, kind of, but I don't see why that's not I really don't understand what the point of Ninjago is. Not to say that it's bad or anything, but
I don't know. I feel like it's for kids because ninjas are cool, and I don't. That's do you mean in terms of the toy or the movie? Actually,
the general concept, how it came to be.
The toy, you kind of get, because ninjas are cool for boys, and that's definitely the demo you're targeting. And like you said, there was even Power Rangers had a ninja force, so I think that's a kind of a clear, logical place to go with Legos in terms of a movie. I guess they sold really well, and we're I think Movie Bob made this point in his original review of the Lego movie, where it's this movie's really good, even though it's just a giant Lego toy commercial, right?
Yeah.
And that's true, but it doesn't take away from the movie because, I just think that's true.
Yeah, I guess it's more with the Ninjagos specifically.
Sure.
That we have had 4 Lego movies to this point, and then there's supposed to be a 5th one, but it seems like the second one didn't do as well as they'd hoped, and that kind of stalled all of this. I forget what it was I think it's some sort of racing movie. We talked about this when we did Lego Movie 2.
Yeah, yeah.
But just the idea that they would go, okay, we're going to make a Lego movie and we're going to put everybody in it and it's going to be great. Huge success. Okay, next we should definitely make one about Batman. He's the most popular character in this movie and he's Batman. That they would follow that with this Ninjago property that's not a show, doesn't seem to be, or maybe it is, but it's not a known thing. It doesn't have a very concise pitch, and I, as someone who is relatively tapped into toys and like the toy culture, I don't think it's like so astoundingly popular that it's like a no-brainer for that reason. So just the fact that there have only been 4 of these, and one of them is this weird ninja movie, none of the characters were ever part of the other ones. Like every so often there would be a ninja in the Lego movies, but it's not like Mr. Ninjago, little kid Ninjago, was the main character of Lego Movie 2, or they didn't even seem to make an effort to put him in it.
Right.
Like, I just don't get it. I hate Ninjagos, DJ. I want to get all of them and kill them or whatever. I don't know what the bad guy wants to do. Eat all the Ninjagos.
This is a weird
hit my
lane.
mic so hard because I hate Ninjagos. But
hey, Nando, maybe
yeah,
Ninjago's not for you, so you don't get it.
I wish I didn't get it, but I get it so much I just don't get it. Like I get everything it's trying to be except for why it is.
Wasn't the other gimmick with the ninjas that they used like spin jitsu? I don't know why I know this, but like their whole thing was that they spun. Like,
really?
Right? Now I have to look this up because I'm like,
no, you're right.
Wrong?
I googled this now. Ninjago spin jitsu.
That was their thing. So
the fuck is
I don't know
this?
if that answers your question, but it was a thing.
Did someone just put a thing on a board, like a list of things that's like, all right, here's what we have to copy: Power Rangers, Beyblades, Legos, I guess. Let's see if we can smush all that together. They did have some sort of spin fighting. This honestly seems way more fun than the Lego part. And it's another thing about Legos, and we'll talk about it definitely with this movie, but as a brand, it's so strange.
The ninja or just the ninja stuff?
Legos. Lego as
really?
a brand.
You think the Lego brand? Oh, elaborate. I must know.
The fact that they have this weird spinny droid thing. Like, it's like, they make a set of ninjas, sure, and they make branded stuff, and that does great. Then who is like, you know what we can make as tops? You know, like that just seems like such a strange choice.
Now, I didn't watch the Lego episode of The Toys That Made Us, but I bet if I did, I bet there's like something there about how like the way like Lego grew over the years. Like think of it this way, right? Like in the early 2000s-ish, I might be getting my dates a little bit wrong, but Bionicles were a thing, and like, was there a critique of like, what is this weird thing that
I believe there was in the episode? They were specifically like, and then Bionicles happened, and it didn't really make sense, but it made money. Maybe I forget how the Bionicle part of it works, but yeah, that was acknowledged in the thing.
Okay, so my bad. I should have watched the documentary, but my point remains, I guess.
Like, I mean, okay, so the Ninjagos, right? Like, and we'll talk about other stuff. And I think this spinny thing might be kind of new.
We will talk about
Zitsus or whatever's. It might be like, because I really don't know. Maybe they've always spun. Fans of the Ninjagos, definitely let me know how many spins they've all done. I don't know. And I think I'm not surprised that this franchise kind of gassed out. And we've gotten to a point where it's like, well, maybe we won't make Lego movies anymore. Because, yeah, and I make fun of, like, DC and like, X-Men all the time. But, like, at least those go, like, okay, this and this and this and this and this. And this movie's followed by this movie and introduces this guy. The fact that Ninjago is movie 3 here is insane to me.
It's less insane of the context that Lego has this pipeline from toys to movies that is like pretty seamless and well known. Like they established the Lego movie and it was so good, and it was like the opposite of trash, that it was like, oh, these are things, so yeah, have fun everybody.
Right. So do you think they were like, we're invincible, we can make movies about these weird ninjas? Okay, so I'm
honestly,
way off.
Yes. To answer your question.
There was a show that lasted for 8 years called Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu or whatever, Spinjitzu. Ooh. So not only has Spinjitzu been around the whole time, this is a show that people know. Mm-hmm. I didn't know any of this stuff. Yeah. I wonder how much the show matches up with the movie, because it feels like the movie in the show would have to kind of... The show itself seems, or the movie from what I understand, seems like it has to be an origin, kind of.
Right.
that. So
with these
maybe
very
it's
well
like the
fleshed out
first-
characters that everyone needs to know about.
Right. Like, oh man, what a strange thing. Listen, Ninjagos, they're great.
Okay, so
Lego
wait,
Movie 2, yeah. Oh,
I'm sorry. I want to pull on this thread. Just like one, what would be the like movie that they would do? And is it like Ninjago where you would be like, this is ridiculous. Get the fuck out. You're drunk, Lego. You're drunk. Give me your keys. Like, is there a property where they'd be like, what are you doing?
Like one that would be so bad, you'd be like, that's a crazy move, or one that's like, would be the logical next step in this franchise after
No,
Batman.
one where it's like, this is unacceptable. Stop it right now.
The what are they called? The Ninjagos. No, it's I don't know, like any of these. Like I think there's like a lot of Lego sets that you see, and I'm like, that's probably a fun Lego set. I don't think I need to make a movie about it. Like classic monsters or whatever. I think I don't know what they'd make besides the Ninjagos. I think a Bionicles movie would be bizarre. I think if they went to but I think the brand of Bionicles seems so far divorced from Lego at this point that I would not.
It's too old.
I would forget that it's the same thing.
It would be like 2000s nostalgia is what you would be playing on.
Yeah. Like I think if they did I think you could even go more general and make like Lego Pirates and take a character from the most recent game or movie, like from Lego Movie 1 at that point, and just go, okay, so he'll be in it. Like, you know, the pirate guy or the spaceship guy, like Lego retro spaceships. It's so strange that they had all of those guys and they didn't use any of them. And they just went like, what were they thinking? I want to see the Ninjago movie. Maybe it's good. Maybe people love it. I don't know anything about it, obviously. Maybe it's the surprise hit of the year, but I don't think I know a single person that's seen it either. But again, it isn't for me. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know there was a show of it. I don't know a single thing about Ninjagos.
Well, you didn't even know about Spin Jitsu, so I think your credentials they leave much to be desired.
The videos, or like the videos, when I pass Ninjago sets at like Target or whatever, I am like, these look cool. Big old green dragon monster thing, like that's a cool looking thing. I don't want to see a movie about it, but I can appreciate the artistry of it.
Yeah.
Like Lego Ninjago Legacy Ultra Dragon. I'm looking at that now. Cool set. But whatever, I don't know. It seems awesome. Anyway, so Ninjago, great. We talked about Lego Movie 2 last week. Or not last week, like last year when it came out.
Only.
We talked about it in the past, yeah. Or was it this year?
God, when did it come out? Oh,
it might have been this year. This thing about these Lego movies,
it was
man, they all blend together.
It was the same deal. It was February, right? All these February releases.
Yeah.
Lego Movie 2 was February 8th. Yeah, 2019. Was it with these Lego movies in February?
I don't know.
Like, why that?
Because it's not like I guess like February has kind of turned into a thing where it used to be a ridiculous time to release a movie, and now you can kind of do whatever you want. Like, maybe it will be a good time for it, and there weren't usually as many blockbusters all right next to each other, so it's like, why even bother putting out a movie within a week of, the next big Marvel movie and take a risk where you could just put a movie in February, make a modest amount of money, and be done with it. But yeah, it's like they've all been February releases, except for Ninjago. Maybe that's where Ninjago made its big mistake.
Oh, yeah, it was like a fall release or something like that.
That's right. Yeah, I want to say it was like August or September.
They buck the trend, and that's what they get. I didn't think we were going to deep dive this much on the other Lego movies, but I'm not upset that we are. I will say, as a little teaser, I don't have a ton to say about Lego Batman, and I realized this when I watched this movie. I was like, whoa, there's not a lot here.
Well, I think when you get into like the some of the specific choices about this in the larger context of Batman, I think are very strange. Like, and the fact that it exists the way it does, and like, because it is. All right, let's start talking about Lego Batman movie. You liked it?
Yeah, overall.
Me too. Yeah, great movie.
I think it's a little overrated. Ooh, first hot take.
I don't think it's that highly rated at all.
It's got an 89 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think that's accurate. Like, I don't think it's a bad movie. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is such a crappy score. What about like Metacritic or something like that?
Metacritic? My goodness, Nando.
Yeah, doesn't Metacritic like aggregate actual scores better? Whereas Rotten Tomato just like tells you how many people liked it or didn't like it, but without giving you very much information. So, the Rotten Tomatoes scores are frequently misleading.
Well, to answer your question, Metacritic is 75, which I think more accurately
There you go.
Goes to the movie. So
where does the original Lego movie end up on Metacritic?
Let's see. I just have to remove
Just for some context.
Batman, 83.
There you go.
And I think that's kind of low.
I think there's a lot of people that just hate all these movies because of products.
That's probably accurate. Yeah.
And like definitely with the first one, didn't want to give it a fair chance.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Like I think it's the best. I mean, the Lego Movie 1 is the best version of this they could possibly make, with just like, you know, nonsense. Not nonsense, but like the whole thing with like it's a movie that's really just selling products in the most blatant way possible. As opposed to like a Marvel movie where it's like, yeah, they all have new suits now, so you can sell new action figures. But like the movie would have existed if there weren't action figures, probably, just because it's like, these are the characters from the comic books. Whereas this is just, these are some of the characters you can buy the Legos of. And also here's the new cars they're driving are all brand new cars you've never seen before. And if you want, you can buy the cars. Please buy the cars.
We need these. We need these to sell, rather.
So I always do pay a lot of attention to, for whatever reason, some weirdo, Legos and toys at stores. The toy stores by me are packed with Lego 2 sets still.
Okay.
Like, they did not sell.
Interesting. I mean, not surprised, but like, do you think in your like quote unquote eyeball assessment that like Lego 1 sold way more than Lego 2?
Yes, I do. I think Lego 1 was, I don't know if it was the sets or just the movie was better, but I would bet Lego 1 sold way more toys. I would bet Lego Batman also sold way more toys. Okay. I bought so many of the Lego Batman sets. I loved, but it's kind of like, as like a Batman fan, way more than a Lego fan, I was just like, awesome, it's Kite Man. I'm going to buy this thing with Kite Man.
I mean, how do you
so I can have it in my house. Yeah. So like, I think there's an element of that to it. And I think the sets themselves were also pretty good. Like, some of them were like this, you know, pimped out penguin mobile is pretty cool in like the artistic sense of Legos, where it's just like having this out kind of as like a, you know, like a statue or a piece in your office that you would like hang up. It almost kind of works. But I think the way that this movie, the way that Lego Batman movie, I think worked so well for me. Everything I liked about the movie is the Batman parts. I could not care less about all the Lego parts.
And it's because they
all get in the way.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I just think like the movie is so boring when it's like, quick, we have to be master builders. It's like, shut up. This is a Batman movie. I get it, but it's not. Like, you don't have to interlock your heads together or whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I totally agree. I think that the movie is almost restricted by the Lego aspects of it, because a movie where it is just the Batman stuff of it, which is funny, and what I was going to say, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but the Batman stuff is so good and they nail it so well, and I think that's part of why the movie's hugely successful, that the Lego stuff just like gets in the way. Like, this could have been an animated Batman movie totally absent of the Lego stuff, and it would have been hugely successful. I surmise. I
agree. I think this would have been, I think if you took the Lego out of it and stylized it, gave it a lot more spirit when it comes to animating it, it would have been Into the Spider-Verse. Like, it would have been just a wildly like popular, successful hit. And I think the fact that like they're all Legos, you watch the movie, you go, why? Where are any of these guys Legos? It doesn't matter. No kids playing with them. It's not part of some metaphor. They're just Lego. They don't even seem to know the other Legos. Like, Batman kind of does, but he doesn't mention it. It's not.
It never comes up.
There's absolutely no good reason for him to be Legos. And it's not like Batman's not Batman. The same way like Spider-Man. Like, I guess Into the Spider-Verse isn't the highest selling, you know, it's like the lowest selling Spider-Man movie ever. But still, it's not like you couldn't pitch, like, we're going to make a really, really, really exciting animated Spider-Man or Batman movie. Mm-hmm. And it's going to have all the villains, and it's going to be a comedy. It's going to be for kids. We'll be able to sell toys and all kinds of bullshit. I think people would lose their mind. Like, it would definitely get past, you know, the executive's desk. That's a no-brainer. Why Legos?
Because, Nando, you could sell way more toys.
Yeah, that's true. That's why. That's absolutely it.
Unfortunately,
I bought all of them. I don't know if I would have bought them for this. I didn't buy any Into the Spider-Verse toys.
Yeah.
So if it was Lego Spider-Verse, maybe I would have. there's a very good chance I would
good
have.
good for them, I guess. Like, it's amazing that you could sell a Kite Man Lego, and that absolutely sells because it's funny and, you know, all this stuff, and, you know.
And it's good. Like, as a person who's liked a lot of these characters for a long time, and just like, you know, it's like, oh, okay, so what kind of car, if you have to make, first of all, they all look cool. Like, and they have slightly different looks where it's like guys like Kite Man with pretty basic designs. It like looks like Kite Man. Guys like Joker, they did some different things with him, and I'm not super, I think the Joker's design in here out of everybody is like the least, you know, amazing, but guys like Two-Face, they really like kind of went in interesting directions with his vehicle. That's like a big evil, half evil dump truck. It's kind of cool. Like they did, it doesn't feel like they just went, all right, we'll get Two-Face, put him in a truck, half of it's green, half of it's purple or whatever, and then that's him.
Yeah.
Like they really went, and there's a lot of like artistry in there. But again, it's completely unnecessary besides the selling toys part, which you're right, is definitely the reason all of it exists. And yeah.
And good for them, honestly.
It's definitely like, if you couldn't have made it without this, then yeah, I guess make this one. Like, I would say to Warner Brothers, like, maybe just make these movies. Because I think the Lego aspect of it was a little limiting for fans. Like, I think there were people like, well, I didn't see the Lego movie, so I'm not going to go see this. When if it was just an animated solo Batman movie, it would have been like, well, yeah, I mean, this is a different thing. You know who Batman is. Go have some fun.
I didn't even think about
this
that,
movie is for?
That's an interesting point.
Like
that, like you've created a barrier by making it a Batman movie. I didn't even consider that.
Because like with the Marvel movies, they went backwards. Like they started with, it would be like if Thor got introduced in Avengers. But Avengers was popular, but it wasn't, like it was the first movie in the franchise and they splintered. And if you didn't see Avengers, even if Thor was an origin story, or if it was completely disconnected, I'm still sure there's still plenty of people to be like, well, I didn't see the first one, so I'm probably not going to get this one. And also, me having not seen that probably means I'm not in love with this. You know, I'm not like a Lego mega fan. So,
right.
Yeah, I think it might have hurt it, kind of. But like when you get rid of that, when you take the Lego stuff out, it's very good.
Yes.
Although, like, I think the Lego, like, the animation of the characters is, like, it's okay. It's as good as that'll ever be, but I don't think that technology has improved very much since the first one.
There's some really over-the-top things they do with Joker that I think are really good, that my guess is you probably couldn't do. Or you could, but it might be tougher because like the small heads, right, that the Legos have and their proportions, like you could put really big emotions the way they do the faces on the Lego things. Like when Joker's gonna cry, you know, like that's an example. So like stuff like that, I think you get from this, from like using the Lego animation.
And there are things that they do that like Spider-Verse does too, because I mean like they're very similar. Where it's like with Spider-Verse, there's things where like certain characters were in certain frame rates that were completely different from other characters to just, without really making it super obvious, make them look different. With Lego Batman, they did some cool stuff that I don't know if they did in the original Lego movie with like motion blur, where Batman would jump in the air and kick, but if you slow it down, the Lego character of Batman doesn't just jump in the air and kick. His leg extends and turns into a larger piece so that you see him kind of jumping up, and it almost, in like when you're watching it in real time, you don't notice it, but it's very exaggerated. There's a lot of that in the first scene where all the guys are having the big car fight.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's fighting individual goons. You can see that, and it's pretty cool. Like and it's just like, it just feels like it's for people like me who loved the animated series. Because I mean, a lot of the character designs are pretty similar to that, and
yes.
I'm like, well, just make the animated series one then. What's stopping you besides the toys, which is what it is? Do you think they could have just made Lego versions of these characters? Like, make a normal animated movie and then sell... Because it's not like the Marvel movies that sell Legos are in Lego, but they still make them.
That's a good question. Okay, so I'll say that... I'll answer your question, then I have a question back. So...
Ooh.
Yes, they definitely could have. This translates better. Like, you're getting the Lego guys from the movie. And I
without a doubt. Yeah.
So there's that. my question is, do you think, there's no way for us to know this or prove it, but the fact that it was a Lego movie, and because we're coming at this kind of from our perspective, but right, there are groups of children who saw the Lego movie and, maybe they were 10 or, like somewhere in that, like youngish age range, way more into Legos for sure, that like the fact that it was Lego Batman actually got them to the theater. Because we're saying, the fact that it's a Lego movie took away, but maybe the reverse is true also, that it really helped.
You know what? Without a doubt. I know some people that are like family friends and stuff that have young kids. They love the Lego movie characters.
So, right.
More than Star Wars or any of that stuff. So I guess that is something that you could, that I'm sure you could argue that's why to do it. That does make a lot more sense.
So still just playing the other side.
No, yeah, it's a really interesting, like, just like proposition. Because at least with Spider-Man, and I mean, like, Into the Spider-Verse is, like, very different because we've never had a Miles Morales movie before. But we've had a billion Spider-Man movies, and we were still doing them at the time. Like, there were solo Spider-Man movies, and this combined universe Spider-Man, and a Venom movie. So, like, this was, besides Justice League, Batman v Superman, something we all didn't really like. The only Batman game in town. That's the weirdest part to me. The best Batman movie for a while was this. Although it shouldn't be that weird because it's still pretty good.
For a while, do you mean like within the past, like it came out in 2017? Do you mean within like the past 5 years? So like back to 2012?
Since Dark Knight, I'd say this is the best Batman movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Best movie with Batman in it, I guess. Like that,
I'm trying to think if I should be interesting and disagree.
I mean,
no,
some people
right.
like whatchamacallit. Like, I mean, there's people that'll go to bat for Dark Knight Rises, but I just not, besides just not being a huge fan of it in general, I don't think it was nearly as successful at what it was doing as Dark Knight, which is always going to make it look worse to me.
Yeah. And don't worry, I'm not going to bat for it. So it's weird because it treads this line of like, that movie is a really good Lego Batman movie, right? It's a really good Batman movie, but it's kind of a weakish Lego movie. But like, if you're into that franchise, you're gonna go see this movie. I don't think this made anyone like sour. Like, I remember leaving the theater being like, oh, that was so great. But I think I was reacting to a lot of the jabs that like Warner Brothers put in there that were kind of self-aware, because there were a lot of those, and I think I overly enjoyed those possibly.
And just deep cuts of like, this is Condiment King, and we're gonna play the song from like his playlist when he starts kicking ass. Is the Let's Get Nuts playlist, like from Batman the first one, like
Sharp
all that
repellent.
stuff. Yeah, it just felt like a super aware, not like aware Batman movie, but it was one of the first Batman movies in a very long time, especially so you had Batman v Superman right before this. Justice League would come out later that year, which, flop city. The Dark Knight movies, and like they're good, but not super, none of them leaned super heavy on like the campiness, right? And then like the last thing before that was the 97, Batman and Robin, which was both very campy, but also, a big disaster that almost collapsed the entire superhero movie market. So I think just not just it being refreshing, but this being like, you know what, Batman is silly. You guys forgot that for a while. Like, this Batman has become this serious, hard-nosed detective who does karate. Batman's, like, really silly. So we're going to make a movie about how silly he is. I think that was probably, for me, why I enjoyed it so much.
Okay.
And all of these Batman movies have, like, one or two villains, and it just feels so, like, why are you holding back? And I think that what we've seen from this new Batman movie of, like, they're trying to cast this guy as this guy maybe, and maybe this guy is this guy, and there'll be, like, a bunch of main villains that'll all just be around. Like, I think if they do that, that's the balance I want. But with this, it was the opposite, where it was just like, we're going to put every single villain in, and they'll just be there because it's a Batman movie, and Batman has all these great villains. So why would we just make one movie with Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow and pretend the rest of them don't exist? Not that I don't think that worked in that context, but I think that they've been limited by that in the future. Like, future movies being like, oh, we're going to need a Joker, so we can't put the Joker in this, and probably make a movie about Penguin if this goes well, so we'll probably hold on to him too. Whereas with this, they went, we're going to make one of these, and we're going to put everyone in it.
Do you wish that they weren't, and I know this is kind of tangential, or not tangential, this is going off on a tangent. Are those?
Yeah, they're the same thing, right?
Yeah, all right. Okay, well, gonna do that. Do you think Warner Brothers like way too scared of itself because of like how sensitive they are with Batman? Because I would argue they're like way more sensitive with how they deal with Batman than Superman. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, why is that?
Because it's like because I think it's easy to make a Batman movie, or it should be. Like, it should be like Superman. None of their other characters, besides kind of Wonder Woman, but not really, are like slam dunk no brainers as Batman, where I think they kind of understand, like, unless we really mess up this character a couple times, like Fantastic Four, and nobody ever wants to see a movie about them again, we can make a Batman movie every 3 years and no one will care. And there are enough fun characters, and just like the format of those movies works, and everybody loves him. Like, just historically, he's been around forever. And like, at the time, by 1997, there had been 4 Batman movies and 4 Superman movies in live action. Not counting like the 66 one, but just like in that, whatever, silver age of comic book movies. And if you ask the general public, like, name me 3 Superman villains, I think they'd have a hard time. But you could ask people like 3 Batman villains, go. And they, everyone knows who they are. I think Warner Brothers really just doesn't care too much about Superman. It's like, at least with Marvel, they have Spider-Man and the X-Men and the Hulk. And for a while, those were your 3, like, big dogs. And then they developed all these other guys. But with this, it really does seem like Warner Brothers just has Batman and whoever else they can kind of make work at that time. But a lot of the times it turns into Catwoman or Green Lantern or, movies that don't work. But Batman's always a safe bet for making money.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Lego Batman movie. So the plot of this movie is like Batman wants to beat all the villains.
Yes.
Chaos
He wants
ensues.
to be the best Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's kind of like he's Batman, so he's emotionally weird. And maybe all these other random supporting characters are going to help him through that. It is funny how this movie introduces Batman, Batgirl, and Robin. Like, yeah, it could be just one. It could be Robin or it could be Batgirl, but it's both.
Well, so there's my theory that if this was your only Lego Batman movie, go all in. Because I'll be honest, they're not planning on a second one, are they?
No, I don't think so. And it did well enough. I'm surprised, kind of.
But I think that's it. It's like, all right, you did all the things. Congratulations. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
No, I think that's right. And for the most part, I think it works. But it's just so funny because it does this and introduces all the villains. It introduces Superman and the Justice League. It also introduces 15 other characters from other movies. But it's not like, some of them are kind of no-brainers. Like, okay, so this is the Riddler. What does he do? It kind of looks like he usually looks, and he does riddles, and that's kind of all you need to know about him. And but like, there's some other characters where they like made choices, and I'm like, that's weird. Like, Robin in this movie isn't like any other Robin. It's really just this Michael Cera Robin.
Yeah, with the whole "you adopted me" thing. To be fair, that angle is an interesting take on Batman. Like, what if Robin was a child that Batman had adopted?
Like, by accident. Yeah.
Yeah.
But more for me, it's more like this, like, chipper Robin for a dark, grim Batman. Like, that dynamic, I don't think I've ever seen before. Besides maybe Tim Drake sometimes. But a lot of the time, it really, like, this Robin is Dick Grayson. And he is nothing like any other Dick Grayson I've ever seen. And
true.
Kind of the same with Barbara Gordon. She is the police commissioner already, and her story and the way she falls into this Batman story, completely different from the way that usually works, which I just find kind of strange. I don't know, but it's just weird to me that they go in that direction with these characters. Do you think if this wasn't Michael Cera, this Robin would be different?
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like you could pull off this writing with, I think specifically a lot of the way he's imagined is from the voice acting. Duh. That's not like a revelation. I still think the character would have been similar, but I think the way maybe some of the movements and the perceptions would have been different, because I do agree that a lot of it is very specific to Michael Cera. So,
yeah, like,
yes and no.
Looks like Michael Cera. Kind of, I guess. He wears glasses. Robin doesn't usually wear glasses. Like, these are just Michael Cera, though. And it kind of looks like they're trying to get this. This one's closer to whatever the name was. I can't remember, from the Dark Knight Returns comic.
Okay, yeah.
It's not Stephanie. It's the other one that's a girl. I always forget this one. But it's just so weird. But like, it's not like another movie. It's not like if they made this movie and they gave it to, like, I could see a version of this movie where everything else is also a weird choice, and you kind of leave the theater going like, have they seen Batman movies? Like, did the team that wrote this movie just go, Robin's a kid, right? All right, so we'll get like a kid and have him act like this. But like, clearly they have so many of the other details down to like just perfect that everybody watched every Batman thing a million times before they made this. So it's just, I find that so strange. And with the Barbara Gordon, at least her suit is like more on point. Although her suit changes all the time. But this whole like, she's the police commissioner. How do you feel about Batman being in love with Barbara Gordon? Kind of.
In the context of this movie, I was fine with it. I didn't think like this movie did anything crazy. I was like, because this Batman's a bit different. It's our awesome Will Arnett Batman. So I'm like, all right, this is fine. I didn't think it was like totally crazy. So,
and she's kind of like his age, which is unusual. I don't know how old this Batman is supposed to be, but he's definitely...
These Lego characters are ageless, except Michael Cera's clearly younger.
Right, and like Alfred is older, and like... But I've always assumed, like, and I tweeted about this today, I assumed most of Batman's villains are just his age, within a couple of years, just because they are. Like, unless there's a really good reason why they're not, like, I would say Freeze is usually older. Is Freeze... Is Freeze the only married Batman villain?
Oh, boy.
Right?
That
only
we
one with
know
a
of? Is the Riddler married?
I don't think so. I mean, like, Joker's kind of, he's with Harley, and Two-Face is married sometimes, I guess. But when it comes to like how they have families, I think because Mr. Freeze has a wife and she existed before Batman met her, part of me makes me go like, well, he's got to be older than Batman then. And all the rest of these guys, because they don't have wives, because they're, mid-20s. But that's crazy. But like all of these villains have, I would say all these villains are usually the same age. Obviously, we know how old Robin usually is. He's like, he's a teenager, maybe a little bit younger than that sometimes, but in that square. And then Barbara Gordon's usually a little older than Robin, maybe, but not that much. But in this, she's like an adult, which is interesting.
It was a solid choice, honestly, I think.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Switch it up a little bit.
Well, it's funny because this year, the 2017, I think, was also the year that the Killing Joke movie came out, where Batman had a relationship with Barbara Gordon that they kind of also made up, and everyone hated it. But that Barbara Gordon was younger.
Yeah, that one's a little
like
different.
A 15-year-old or anything, but she was still like, it was, the relationship was very different.
It's not exactly super woke.
And then they just got rid of it anyway in this. It's not like at the end, Batman and Batgirl, like, are in love and he like marries her. They're just kind of like friends.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or like family, I guess.
It's not lasting. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they were like, you know what? This is weird. Let's not do it.
Yes.
Halfway through. Yeah, I kind of do too.
100%.
All right. What do you think of the villains? So let's go through them one by one, starting with the Joker.
Oh God, one by one. We're going to be here for another 7 hours.
Yeah, right. All right, Joker. What'd you think of him? Zach Galifianakis.
Loved it. It's a great take because the tenor of the movie, it's unique. This Joker's definitely the closest one to the Cesar Romero one for sure.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like Joker being like a stilted lover, I fucking love that. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it is fun, and he's very good at like. He feels very like, I don't know if this is normally a Zach Galifianakis thing or what, but he just feels super desperate and like Yeah, like so that is fun to watch. I think I feel like the character design is interesting because I feel like most of the rest of them are just their guys that you would buy in any Lego set. Like they've been selling that Catwoman for the last 10 years. Whereas this one, they were really like, okay, we have to make him different in some way. No sleeves on the suit. His hair's more kind of up and less, it's a little bit more messy. But I did like it. I think he looked cool. I think, Zach Galifianakis is such an interesting choice for me.
I think it's a great choice. I think he's just very good at really conveying the emotions of what they wanted that character to do. All right, I'm going to throw a question back at you, Nando. Do you think that that Joker would have been different if it wasn't Zach Galifianakis.
I think you could have gotten a similar performance out of other over-the-top actors.
Okay.
I don't even, because I don't think it looks that much like Zach Galifianakis, and I think you could get like Jim Carrey or someone, someone like him, some other, Ryan Reynolds, not really, but someone else who can overact and just been like, you are sad that Batman doesn't love you anymore, so just kind of do that. And I think you could have gotten a very similar performance. I don't think anybody but Michael Cera really is like essential to their character. Even the Batman, I'm like, yeah, you could put, you have Clooney do this and it'd be pretty similar. As long as he's got the same attitude, like, what's the difference? But with the Batman, I'm like, or with Robin, I'm like, this is such a different take on this character. I can't see another actor doing it. Even like one that's similar to him, like McLovin or something.
I
mean, I like Galifianakis in it. I think he's very funny. And he's doing a good job. I like the look of the character. He looks very crazy.
Yeah, it gets a lot of that, like, very animated and manic expressions. I do believe all of this could have been done, like, Into the Spider-Verse or whatever other animated vessel they chose to go with. But given that they did opt for, like, the Lego option, if you will, I think it was really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it worked as well as you could possibly hope.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then you've got like 15 other villains that are just like in it for like a second and a half. I don't even know who would be the second lead. I guess like Harley probably has the most screen time. She's fine.
Yeah.
She's got roller skates for some reason. I don't know if that's the usual thing.
I thought they were going for like a weird like a drive-in like car hop kind of deal.
Really? Yeah. I saw more like whatever it's called, like that roller derby being her look.
Okay. Yeah.
But so she's played by Jenny Slate. There were a lot of actors while the movie was going the first time I saw it. I was like, this is somebody, but I don't know who. Like, this is some actress I'm supposed to recognize or actor. There are a lot of them. Then you got Catwoman. I forget who that one is.
I like how they just had her meow a lot. I just thought that was fun.
Yeah, they went and like I like that they're just in the background working together,
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter. They're all just there. It's Zoe Kravitz is the Catwoman. Okay. So some of them are more interesting than others, choice wise. And like some of them, I guess, don't have lines because I don't think the Penguin has a line. He doesn't have a voice actor attached to him, at least not on the first page with all the rest of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? That's weird. But like, so like you got the Riddler is Conan O'Brien. He barely speaks, but the time I heard, he's the one that I was like, oh yeah, that's him. Scarecrow, Jason Mantzoukas, sure.
Love him.
Doug Benson was Bane, which is a fun one because he, on his podcast, likes to do Bane voice. Like, that's just a thing he finds fun, so that's probably why he got this job, which is good. A little something extra for the people. Cool. Billy T. Williams, Two-Face, that's obviously the best one. Yeah, finally got to be Two-Face. Looked great. Love that look. Yeah, it's a bummer that he wasn't able to before. Kate McCucci and Ricky Lindholm from whatchamacallit, whatever it is, Garfunkel and Oates were Clayface and Poison Ivy. So, pretty good. I don't know. And then you had the other heroes. You had like Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill were back. Superman and Green Lantern.
Yeah, strange. That was great. That was another thing this movie did well in like a really short amount of time. They really got the like Batman is a loner thing down pretty well, which I thought was great. I like that. And
like Superman is kind of a dick, but also it's mostly Batman being a dick, but also Superman's kind of a dick. Who else is in here? And then you have all the people playing. So I think the part of this that I was less interested. I really liked the parts where it was Batman versus the Joker and Joker plan, Batman plan, whatever. When we started getting into like famous movie villains, I got a little bit less interested, or like a little bit more like, all right, what are we even doing here? Because like, I don't mind other comic villains like Zod showing up or whatever from the Phantom Zone, but they had like Voldemort and Sauron and like the Jaws shark. I don't know. That felt a little weird to me.
It was the whole Lego movie thing, right? That's like the part where like, oh, you're really swinging your Lego movie stuff around.
But you couldn't You couldn't buy those. You could buy them, I guess, but I don't know if they were selling the toys that like in that part. And I guess like this, the way the story worked, that is where it went. Like that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. That part's strange to me. When I think about the movie, I think about the stuff with the Batman villains way more than I think all this stuff with the Wicked Witch of the West and whatever.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But
yeah, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say it's those things that leaked through that those I truly believe took away from the movie in a pretty like significant way.
I do too. Like there's that one bit specifically where Robin is sneaking into Superman's like the Fortress of Solitude to steal the Phantom Zone, whatever it is, generator. And Batman's like, you have to be a Lego builder or like a master builder and to feel the rhythm and, you know, whatever. And it really, that part of it was the first part in the whole movie where I was like, oh, right, Legos. I forgot about that. I was just enjoying this Batman thing. And yeah, that's right. They are Legos. It's like the Funko movie we're going to get in a year that they're apparently really making.
Oh, God.
What a
terrible idea.
Awful idea. Just, that's the worst. But yeah, it feels kind of like that, where it's like there's going to be a point where we're like, oh God, right, these are Funkos. I was enjoying this, and now they're Funkos. Yeah, I think my favorite part of this movie is just like there's so many fun deep cuts because I just named all the villains that had lines. There's so many other villains that show up. Killer Croc is there, and he's just a crocodile man. Pretty good. Mr. Freeze has an awesome, like, giant mech suit, which made for a terrific set. And then you got, like, your Kite Man, your Captain Boomerangs, your Egghead had a big, giant egg mech thing that was awesome. Condiment King, that was a fun one. The only villain Batman has never defeated because he went and tried to rob something and then slipped on his own ketchup and knocked himself out. So Batman has technically never fought him. Did you notice some like omissions? There were a couple villains, like high profile Batman villains who did not show up, which made me go like, are they saving them for something?
Who? I can't even recall any from the top of my head, and I feel stupid that I can't.
Okay. So there were some like that were really high profile, but like Hush wasn't in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they had some like the mutant leader from the Dark Knight Returns, where it's like that's not even like a staple of Batman like, you know, that's not like the Riddler. This guy was just in that, and he doesn't show up in other stuff. So it is kind of like, well, Hush would show up then, maybe. He's got a pretty specific character design. No Ra's al Ghul, no assassins whatsoever, and no Hugo Strange, which was the one specifically that I was like, hey, where's he? He's part of this sometimes.
I feel
besides
like
that, I
Strange
think they had
is fine.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And he would, you know, I don't care about his car. There was also no, who was it? No, like, other supporting characters. No Azrael. Like, you had Jim Gordon, but a lot of the Batman-specific characters. There was only the one Robin, obviously, which was Dick Grayson, which, again, a little strange, but fine. And he got his Nightwing suit at the end, which was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some Batman villains that I was like, what happened to this guy? I'm trying to think. Like, there were ones like Firefly who didn't make it, but who cares? And I don't think Ra's al Ghul would have even really fit, but
yeah. How do you make him not just be like, everything is death?
Yeah. There's like no Deadshot. That's one that I'm like, maybe Suicide Squad was the reason they didn't make him, but then you got Killer Croc, so who cares? No Mad Hatter. Okay. No Grundy, no Ventriloquist, no Zaz. They definitely skewed towards the 50s, 60s villains that are like, you know, the ones that are, I don't even know what Silver Age, Golden Age, but the ones that are either the main ones or the really goofy ones.
Right.
Because like you had like Calendar Man and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are the campier ones that I feel like you kind of want to lean in towards anyway, given the like mood you're striking with this specific Batman movie. Like, yeah, this is exactly what you're going for.
For sure. And I think it was a good like mix of like, this is a fun, silly one, and obviously Two-Face has to be here, so here's your Two-Face, you know?
Yeah, it's obligatory at this point, you know, go nuts.
Right, yeah. So,
yeah.
What did you think of... Okay, so the plot. It's a big old plot. Batman gets Robin, that's part of it, and then he teaches Robin and like gets a son. The Joker's... What'd you think of the Joker's plan?
I thought it was good. I do think it got into the point of the movie where it got to be a bit much because you had all of these like non-Lego villains that were part of the mix. The overall structure of the plan was like great. And it is so like, oh, I'm so burned by you, Batman. So that like you forced me into this recourse. Like I do honestly think that's a beautiful way to take this movie. And again, I love the intent of the plan, but actual execution,
I mean, it's funny because it is just a like. It's funny because the whole idea with him was I hate Batman. I know, like, and it's not just like, I guess not I hate Batman, but I want to ruin Batman's life. How can I do that? By like forcing him into an existential crisis about whether he has value in society anymore. You know, like it's not about killing him or anything like that. It's just like mind games, which is good Joker. I think it's funny that it's like get caught and then see how that goes. Cause that's like that's what the Joker does these days. He just gets caught and plays it by ear. Lucky for him, Batman does everything wrong and does all this Phantom Zone stuff. I do think the climax of the movie is kind of stupid where they have to interlock their heads and stuff. I don't care for that.
Yeah, I think how they get to where they need to go is could do without, honestly.
Yeah.
But like elements of his plan, like Batman winds up going to jail. Like that's how good Joker's plan is.
Yeah. And Joker's plan is so good. Not like is so good, but when Joker executes the plan, none of the other villains know that it's part of the plan. He's just like, all right, let's all turn ourselves in. And they're like, wait a second, are you sure about that? And they're like, yep, I guess that's what we're doing. We trust this Joker implicitly, even though he never seems to be able to get one over on anybody else. But yeah, I liked him a lot.
Yeah. This Joker is like, it's such a different incarnation. And I was a huge fan of it. I thought it was super clever. And I really think Zach Galifianakis specifically brought a lot to the table with it. So for what it's worth.
Yeah. Do you want to let's figure out our Joker ranking here.
Ooh.
How many yo-hos would you give him in terms of his goofiness and silliness and stuff?
Oh man, like a 10.
Yeah, he's pretty. I would say he's a 9. I don't think he's. I think he. I don't know. I would. He kind of ties what's his name for me, like Mark Hamill. He's right up there, but I think I gave Mark Hamill's Joker a 10.
Right.
I guess kind of I have to, but he's not quite there because I can't remember what his gags are the way I usually can with a Hamill.
Yeah,
Joker.
I guess it's less the gag stuff and like the goofiness and the silliness in terms of like, you know, how like crazy and weird he is and, you know, just kind of like over the top and like, it's like, this isn't your father's Joker. It's a kinder, gentler Joker, right?
Yeah.
This would be like if you ghosted the Joker after being in a relationship with the Joker, like what crazy shit would he do?
And I guess that's kind of the other part of it is he isn't the weirdest part of this movie. Like this movie is weird and colorful and zany and like Scarecrow's a pizza delivery man and whatever at points. So like he doesn't stand out in terms of like, just zaniness for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
As much as like Hamill does. So I would that's why he gets a 9 instead of a 10 for me. What do you think about his psychoticness?
0?
Yeah, well, maybe like 2 max. He has pointy teeth. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and like, well, his plan does involve like a bunch of like villain.
Yeah, it seems like
it's not very psychotic. It's not psychotic.
It's funny because all the other villains are more psychotic than him because it seems like the plan at some point, like they all seemed cool with blowing up the city, and they all seem cool with killing everybody at that gala when they all just jump in and they're like, here we are.
Yeah.
So he's not very psychotic. I mean, he does like. He seems to be okay with, he doesn't want to get his hands dirty, but he is totally cool with unleashing all of the dangers of the world onto society. So that's, I guess, a little bit more interesting. And then what'd you think of his laugh?
I liked it. I didn't love it. Like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, I don't remember it, honestly. I don't remember it being very different from what I would imagine is like a slightly higher pitched Zach Galifianakis
and like
laugh.
Goofy.
Yeah.
It's almost like your birthday party clown laugh. Almost.
Yeah,
so
right?
That's why it's like,
Yeah. I like this Joker.
Yeah, me too. I like the theme. I like that it's different. I like his play with Batman. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan.
And his like design, he had like the coat and the tails, like on his.
I was just thinking that. Yeah,
that was a fun little like detail. Yeah, no, this was a very good Joker. I'm trying to think, what would you do if you had to make a sequel to this?
Oh,
Because they really did use all of the cards in the deck.
can I go crazy off the wall?
Sure.
You'd have to do probably in the same line of like the whole other Lego villains, but like for some reason the Joker and Batman have to team up.
See, I feel like the whole teaming up at the end, that would feel so like
Similar.
exciting to me. Yeah, and I think that's right. Like, I think that is the a smart next step in the franchise, but it seems so like there's so much stuff they did. I can't think of a Batman story that would be interesting that they haven't done what they could.
Yeah.
So many of the really good Batman stories are like, what if this guy organized all the supervillains to do a thing? It's like, crap, we already did that. Like, that's Hush, that's Long Halloween, that's Nightfall. Like, yeah, I just don't know what's left. Besides League of Shadows, I guess. That could be your antagonist. But
And it's because like it's hard with like the kiddie nature of this.
yeah,
movie. Yeah.
right.
If there's no sequel ever, I would be so happy.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
really
don't do
how I
one.
feel about this.
I don't know who else you could do one for. I think we talked about this when we did Lego Movie 2. If you wanted to do another Lego something. Like I don't know what other characters have that kind of cultural significance. I don't even think Spider-Man's there. I think Harry Potter you could maybe get away with, but I don't think that would be that interesting.
Harry Potter is super popular.
It is. The kids love it. I just don't think it has that, like, not like that cultural ubiquity, but I just, like, Batman has been around for so long. There's so much to draw from, where with Harry Potter, it's like there's 7 books, 8 movies, and then 2 other movies that no one really likes. Well, not that's true. One of them is one people like. And then a play that everyone's split on. I guess you could, I thought maybe someone weird like James Bond, but no, they wouldn't make that. Maybe you could do like Pirates, just make Lego Pirates.
That would be fun because you could go to the more like kiddie nature of it. That would be really good.
Or just space, just a space movie, like a sci-fi Star Wars and Star Trek and the aliens and all those characters with the one that's like Benny, I think his name is, the spaceman guy.
That would be good.
You could do that.
Yeah.
I think he's probably my favorite character in all of these. And I know there's a Unikitty show.
Yes.
So I guess that's something that they would consider or maybe want to do.
Yeah. So there's ways to go. Ninjago 2? Is that
finally? Yeah.
Is that on the table?
I mean, maybe it's great. Maybe it's awesome. Maybe it makes sense if you have or haven't seen Ninjago or know it exists or whatever. Because I really did not know that was a thing. It's so weird to me.
You didn't even know about Spinjitzu.
I didn't know about Spinjitzu, and I'm pretty up on this stuff. Like, more than your average person, and definitely more than your average person who doesn't own most of them. Like, very rarely buys a Lego set. But, nah, man, Spinjitzu. It's the shit. People love it. Do you have any other thoughts about this movie? Oh, is there anything else to it?
I think I got them all. Our shortest evaluation ever?
I know, it's tough. Like, I liked a lot of it, but a lot of it is just like, I liked it when they said that. Like, I liked it when Condiment King was on screen. That was fun.
Yeah, and there's very little to actually nitpick.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the nature of this movie, and it's like, good job, movie. You did all the basic things you needed to do. Congrats. So,
what's weird? If we want to nitpick something, I think sometimes what's the deal with the monsters villains that, like, there's that one guy who's like a Godzilla monster. What's that guy? Is that something I should recognize? Because every single other one of them was some sort of branded guy,
Is it
that
not
who
supposed
he
to
was.
be Godzilla?
It didn't look like Godzilla though, right? It looked like some other thing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like just a kaiju
I know who you're talking about. I just
thing,
can't place what that would be.
Right?
Bad on me, I guess.
They had like Agent Smith, and that could have been just like Mr. Computer. But they were like, this is Agent Smith. You know this is him. But they were very unclear about whatever that guy was.
A lot, very less deliberate.
Yeah.
Swamp monster guy? I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's close. That's as close as you get to it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got. I enjoyed this movie. It's funny. I liked it the most right after I saw it, but I think the toys are great, and I have to put them up in the new office because I have them on shelves. Like, I have almost all of them. I never got the Two-Face truck, which I think was stupid because I think that one was great, but it wasn't in the first flight of them, and it was one of the more expensive ones in the second flight. And I was like, I really just want to buy the cheap one so I can get the little Lego toys. Let's see how much it costs right now. Two-Face Lego. It is, it's like $60. I don't think I'm going to shell out $60 for a Lego. I know. If it was like real cheap and on sale, I'd probably consider it. Because it is a cool looking set, but...
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I know. The rest of them were nice. They were all pretty reasonably priced, too. The $20 for this one, it's like, all right, yeah, I'll buy that. But, like, yeah, a lot of them are just like, I don't care about this Bane one. It just really comes with a stupid car and just a nice Bane minifigure. But, like, this Clayface one is terrific. Or, like, yeah, I don't know. There's interesting stuff. I mean, I really thought about this way too much. All right, DJ, do you want to get to our classic segment?
I suppose, if it's that time.
Yeah, I think it's time, right?
It's hard to believe, but I believe it.
I believe it, too. Do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
Yeah, this is a different, I don't know, like different than usual is accurate, because like what's a usual recommendation for me? But anyway, regardless, I am recommending Malcolm Gladwell's most recent book, which I haven't finished, but I'm like 2/3 through, and I freaking love it. It's called Talking to Strangers, or Talking with Strangers, one of those two. And basically, it's I think Bill Simmons explained this real good. It's like Blink 2.0. It's like the idea of we have all these reactions that we have for people we know and like life in society that we're just kind of used to because we go through the motions. And this is an exploration of how we interact with strangers, what are the assumptions we make when we interact with strangers, and like what does that mean just in our day-to-day interactions with people. And it's really, really interesting. And he deep dives into like a lot of things that are like case studies of this.
That is interesting.
It's great. Everything he does is phenomenal. I have heard that the audiobook is like very unique, and like they put music in it, and they got quotes from like people to read interesting quotes, and I've heard that's like really cool, but I just got like the Kindle version because that's what I do. So
right, I might find that because I like Malcolm Gladwell a lot. I did not know he had a new book out. Yeah,
it's either talking to strangers or talking with strangers, but yeah, absolutely recommend. It's a great book. Definitely check it out.
Cool.
So that's my rec. And like super minor one. I got caught up with The Good Place finally, and the new season starts this upcoming Thursday. And if you haven't watched The Good Place, definitely watch it. It's the final season of The Good Place. You can, if you're very ambitious, you can binge it all on Netflix. So yeah.
I'm excited, but also like I it's like one of those things where you just don't want it to go, but you're also like, it probably should go. I'm not prepared or excited for like a sad, like finale where they all fall in love or whatever. Yeah. Whatever they end up doing.
No, it'll be great.
No, it will. I think it'll be awesome. I can't wait to see if there is any ethical consumption in capitalism. I'm really interested to see what conclusion they come to, because it's a tough question.
Yeah. The show's very good at being surprising. Like, yeah. I'm super on board, so watch The Good Place if you haven't. I know I've wrecked it before, that's why I'm like not making it my official rec for the week. Trying not to repeat. So, but yeah, Malcolm Gladwell, he's great.
Nice. While we're before we move on to that, finally, I did want to nitpick something real quick, something that I've forgotten to nitpick. What the hell is the Scuttler in this movie? Like, what is it?
Oh, you mean the
Scuttler, the big crab thing that Batman has.
Yeah.
What is that? What's the precedent for that?
Oh, there is none.
Yeah, right?
At all.
It's nice that they made it and it's fun and stuff, but like, the hell?
It's a silly little thing they put in this movie.
Yeah. It's very strange to me because it's not obviously it's not a necessary part of Batman mythology, but it does kind of end up being what the Batman tank thingy was from Justice League later that year. And I've kind of talked about this, but I wonder if they were like, yeah, this is going to be the new Batman thing. So, like, can you make something like this? And they're like, I guess it'll look like that. Yeah, that can kind of be a thing.
That's so curious.
It's so weird. And it's like, it does the same thing. And I really don't think they've ever done anything similar. But yeah, so there you go. Great nitpick. We nailed it, guys.
I have to say, this movie's very forgettable. Like, I watched it over the weekend. We were recording this on a Tuesday, and I watched it on Saturday or Sunday, I think, and I've forgotten most of it. And I like barely took notes because it's like a movie you experience and you go through, and then it's over. And I realize that's describing every movie, but like really though for this movie, it's like very cut and dry.
It was nice now that I think about it. This was when I saw it in theaters, a really fun 3D movie. These Lego movies were great for 3D and very infrequently, or like all the time, like, yeah, this movie sucks in 3D. What's the point? Like, I didn't want to see it in 3D, but I wanted to see it this day, so like I had to. But yeah, I love that stuff. I like that part of it. Yeah. All right, cool. I want to recommend something that I didn't recommend, but I like teased a recommendation for. I'll do two. First one, I watched Between Two Ferns movie. It's funny. I liked it.
Oh, good.
More Zach Galifianakis for you. Yeah. He's funny in it. If you enjoyed the whole Between Two Ferns premise, it is a pretty funny like premise for the movie that like ties together all the Between Two Ferns interviews, but they're all great and it's like really funny people. There's a lot of stars that you're like, oh yeah, that guy was great. This guy was great. They're all great. So not much I can say. Nice and short. Go check it out. It's on Netflix. It's definitely worth your time. The other one is I've been telling another couple of other YouTubers that do, we all talk, who had been bugging me to watch Kiki's Delivery Service for the longest time.
Yes.
It was really good. I liked it a lot.
I'm so glad you liked it.
I have a feeling because I liked it way more than Spirited Away, which I don't not like, but like I feel like there's a lot about Spirited Away that I just didn't get. Like it was like, I don't know what this, what this character's supposed to symbolize. I'm not even sure what this character's supposed to be. But if I watch more anime or if I was part of a culture that had dragons that meant stuff, I'd probably get it. But with this, it's such a simple, like tight little, she's a witch, she delivers stuff, she's a new girl in the big city. And it was just a really, really solid little movie. But I don't know, maybe I'll revisit Spirited Away, but I'd be more interested to see other ones of those first. You were saying to me that, what's the one that's your favorite? I forget what it's called.
So my favorite is Princess Mononoke.
Right. Yeah. Emily recommended as like a follow-up to this one, Howl's Moving Castle. As one of the other kind of like good but not super out there ones.
Yes, for sure.
And I'm not in a huge rush to finish the entire, trilogy or whatever. Or not trilogy, but like, all of those Miyazaki movies. But I am having finally seen this being like, all right, so these aren't movies that I would not like. It's really just Spirited Away. Everyone said it was the greatest thing ever. I didn't like it. And I was like, these aren't for me at all. But that was a pretty specific case. So yeah, I'd say Kiki's Delivery Service is a fun little movie. And Between Two Ferns, also a fun movie. Yeah. Next week, DJ, what are we doing next week?
All right, we got some time to figure this out, but I don't know.
It's 1 week before Joker, and I can't think of a Joker thing that is worth doing. There's stuff like, Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, but I don't think those would be fun nitpicks.
I'll put it out there, and I told this to you prior, and I think we should finally do Moon. I know it's not anywhere Joker related, but maybe the most Joker thing to do would to be an Agent of Chaos.
Yeah, something chaotic. Perhaps the other thing we could maybe do, and I don't know which movie we would do because none of them scream like this would be fun, is a Joaquin Phoenix movie. But I'm looking at a list of them, and none of them are like... Right, yeah, exactly. Like, you could do Signs, maybe, There's, like, none of them, I think, are too much new ground, and a lot of his newer ones are just, like, good. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Todd Phillips did Hangover, but that's not that fun. I don't know what we'll do. Maybe Moon. It's possible. Please tell us suggestions. We want to hear what you guys think. Do Suicide Squad again.
Sounds like Nando desperately doesn't want to do Moon. That's what I'm hearing.
It's not that I don't want to do Moon. It's like we've been leading up to this Joker movie for 8 weeks, and then we're going to come up with one that's just like, I feel like there's got to be something. Go into the future and watch a future Joker movie. Do you think Joker will be in the new Matt Reeves Batman movie? Like some Joker?
It's gotta be, right?
You think so, but then it's like I don't think they trust people to understand that.
Fair.
Like, but maybe they would. Who knows? We'll let you guys know. Yeah. Anything to plug or anything like that?
Nah, nothing to plug.
That's fine. Do you want to start plugging that thing that you should probably start plugging soon?
Extra Life?
Yeah, it's coming up, right?
Yeah, we are about a month away. All right. So for those of you who don't know, I guess, every year for the past few years, I've done a board game like marathon for Extra Life. It's a way to raise money for kids. You could do video games, you could do board games, you could do whatever. And it's the first weekend in November. So woo, daylight savings time. And me and Michelle and a bunch of friends of ours and Nando's joined in the past. I think you were there last year. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was there a year before too, maybe.
Yeah, you always come for a bit, and we just stay up and we play board games all night. This year's interesting because there's a UFC fight that I really want to watch during Extra Life, featuring Jorge Masvidal. I don't know if you saw Nando, the flying knee that he did to this jabroni, fastest knockout in UFC history. Google it, you'll find it.
No,
and it's the same night as Extra Life. I desperately want to watch that fight, so maybe we'll do my reactions to this fight and board games side by side, or video games side by side. Who knows? But I really want to watch this UFC pay per view. So maybe I'll Nando, we could watch some UFC pay per view.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We could stream it on Twitch. I'm sure they'd love that.
No,
definitely. Yeah.
Dude, Dana White will be at my apartment immediately and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'll be like, "Oh, sorry, Mr. White.
Yeah,
don't kill me." So yeah, it's November. I should really give the exact date. Saturday, November 2nd, and Sunday, November 3rd. So
cool.
Yeah, more details to follow. But yeah, thanks for reminding me to kind of get that out there. So
yeah, it's coming up. Well, I mean, that's what all good. That's what everybody does now. Everybody's doing some sort of charity stream for something. So you gotta throw it all in there.
I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, so it's been really good. And
it's fun. I mean, we play board games anyway, so might as well do it in front of people for charity.
For the kids.
Yeah, for the kids. We play that game where you're a goose. The best game ever made.
Oh, we'll definitely play that game. Does that game have multiplayer, the game where you're a goose?
Probably not, but maybe by the time maybe they'll come up with some. You get to play as the person or the goose. That'd be great, actually.
Oh, yeah. PvP with the goose game.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
I think we'll have it. I think we'll have it soon. I mean, I think this goose game is going to be a big hit, and they'll be itching for something. But I don't know when we'll get it. I don't know. I put out my Defenders video today, part 1. It's great. Part 2 will probably come out pretty soon, too.
Defenders. So
I
thought the video was great. I said I thought the video was great, and I haven't even watched the Defenders. So
yeah, I get that comment a lot. Is that I also people just did not see the Defenders, so that is fine. You'll get it otherwise, but next week is where it really starts kind of moving. Where the plot starts kicking in and it gets fun. So definitely get ready for that.
Nice.
But yeah, besides that, that's all I got. So next week we'll see. You will know what it is at some point.
Maybe we'll put a poll out.
Yeah. I want to get some. I want to get some suggestions, and then we'll put out a poll. Yeah. I want to know what people like, and then I'll throw a poll up of what's popular in that poll. But I'm definitely open to ideas and stuff.
Awesome.
But yeah. So until next week, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woo.